Hey guys, today we got a bit of a do-it-yourself project we're going to do. Now these cages or crates like this, many of you have seen these, they come with the plastic tote inside. I've removed the tote. These cages get used for so many things. I've seen them storing firewood and all kinds of stuff. We're going to do a couple things that are sheep related. First, I consider this thing to have a front and a back, or maybe in our case it'll be a back and a front. But if we can see, we have the holes in front. If you look back here, we have these big wide holes back here. All right, we want that to be in the back. We don't want these big holes. Eventually we're going to put this next to a wall. So because that's going to sit by a wall, we want that in the back. We want the standard holes like this to be in the front. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to do a little cutting. We're going to cut this bar out right here, and we're going to cut this bar out right here. So that's the first step. All right. That's that. Now, let me grab a pair of vice grips or a hammer. I want to pound these down a little, get rid of that rough edge, smooth them down. Let me grab my hammer. All right, guys, basically all I did, I took a hammer, I bent these over a little. You could probably even take a metal file if you have any sharp edges to them. Right now, I don't really feel anything that's snagging on gloves. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And that's all the cutting we need to do on that. Next, get over here. I've got a couple of these that I cut out. These came from goat and sheep panels. The 16 footers you buy that are 4 feet tall or 5 feet tall, I've been cutting them up for feeders. So I've got two small pieces like this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to hook one on this side, about like that, one on the other, and I'm just going to take some baling wire or electric fence wire, tie them up with that. Let me work on that next. When you hang these up, it really isn't going to take much. There shouldn't be a whole lot of pressure on them. So, a couple wires there. Let me put one down here, just kind of hold that in. And I think we got it. Now, if you don't happen to have any wire panels around to use, you could use a couple pieces of plywood. A couple pieces of plywood, one on this side, one on that side. At least go halfway, if not a little more. And technically for our next phase, what we're going to do, plywood might actually work better than the wire. All right, we're at the next phase, and that is we've been doing this all upside down to this point. It's time to turn it right side up. Now, we now have something lambs can get in, but ewes can't. And there's all kinds of things we can start doing now. We've all worked with these kinds of heat lamps. We know they're not the safest. When ewes get around them, bump them, break them. Well, I use this one. See, a lot of folks in the forums use it. This is the Prima 1 by Premier 1. This has got to be probably the safest heat lamp situation you can have. I've been using this myself. But in this situation, what we can do is we can now hang that from the back. We can come inside, we'll hang it. We've now got a nice, safe, secure spot for a heat lamp that we know the ewes are not going to be able to get to. This thing's got plenty of cord, by the way. So we can now hang our heat lamp in the back. We should have a good spot for lambs to get warm, and yet the ewes won't get to it. So let's see about hanging the heat lamp in there. All right, let me show you what I did. Right in the top, I attached an eye bolt. Got that coming through, bolted in from the top side. And I got a clip for my heater, my heat lamp. We'll just clip that in. All right, got a cord. And there we go. Nice spot with our heat lamp. If we need a little lower, we could. You could put a chain or a snap or something like that. Should have easy access for lambs. They can get pretty good size before that's going to start to bother them. And they got a spot, an enclosed spot for your heat lamp. And the ewes are not going to get to that. They're not going to bother it. It's going to be perfectly safe. Well, as safe as any heat lamp in a barn could be. But that's just the first thing, all right? We started with that. Now let's convert it, turn it into something else. All right, heat lamp removed. And I'll tell you what, maybe the heat lamp won't be a big thing for you. Even here last week, it was 20 below at night. And I had lambs that are just a few days old, and they weren't even sleeping underneath the heat lamp. About a day was all they were it. So if the heat lamp isn't needed so much, how about a creep feeder? All right, this is the cane sheep feeder. It's got an adjustable opening down here. You can adjust it on the side for how much you want to come out. It's got the brackets. It has these. The idea is you can mount this on your wall. It'll slide right up and it'll hold this on your wall. In our case, I drilled a couple holes in the top just to have a couple. We're going to mount a creep feeder inside here. So basically, all we'll end up doing, so we can get this flipped over, we'll set it in, reaching through from the back side. And I won't tie it right now, but basically we will just tie that creep feeder to the back. We got a spot for our lambs, and we put the wire guards up. We know the ewes cannot get in there and get to that feed. You could set this back against the wall. You could mount it in a corner. It would work there. You know, if you have a corner mount and you think a corner is what you're going to use, you could always cut here. Instead of cutting two in the front, you cut one on the side if that's going to be the open side. Say these two are the corners. It can be mounted so many ways, but basically, we're just going to take the metal frame. We're going to make two cuts in it, add wire or plywood to the side, and we've got a really nice confined spot for our heat lamp so it's safe, or we got a creep feeder, whichever you need. That's all I got for today, guys. Check back with me in a few days. We'll see what we have next time.